Hello Internet, I am Zenown and welcome to Banished. So instead of doing a Let's Play series on this game, I'm going to be doing a tutorial series, and that's just because I think this game's more suited to that type of thing from my kind of play style anyway. Tends to be a bit too patient and long-winded to make a good series. Anyway, so yeah, feel free to ask me questions in the comments section if there's any particular aspect you want a tutorial on. As for now though, I'm going to just basically show how to get started in the early game. So what we've got here is a medium world, medium difficulty, sorry, in valleys, and I've actually got a fairly good starting spot, to be honest. I was kind of surprised. It's the best one I've had yet out of any of the things I've started. But to begin with, I'm going to turn a couple of settings on. So that one shows the general statistics. So we've got our logs, stone, iron, firewood, coal, tools, food, herbs or medicine, clothing and alcohol, which we won't really get for a fair while. Next one is the map. So this one I won't leave on, but it shows you the general layout of the place and you can kind of click around. And then after that we've got assigned jobs. So this one I like to leave down the bottom corner just to show it. And then there's also the log of events, which you can put up, but I don't really like to leave it on the screen. I think if I was going to leave it, I'd put it down here somewhere, but it's not that good. Where is it, that one? Anyway, so to get started, I'm on medium difficulty as I said, so I've got about 5 families worth of people, which means I need 5 homes, which are these things, but before I place that, first thing I want to do is put down, I always forget where it is, I think it's in here, yeah. Put down no, not a trading post, a market. So what the market does is pretty much ensure equitable distribution of goods and such like that. So you want to have the market kind of in the center of where your house is going. And actually I've got kind of a rough area to begin with. So I stick this about here. Might stick it down here. Yeah, that's alright. Okay, and then I'll hit this on pause. So that basically that just gives me a range that I want to put all my houses in, and that's so people don't hoard food and firewood and things like that. But I won't build it just yet. Just leave it on pause so you don't waste resources or materials, whatever you want to call it. So next is putting another 5 houses. Might leave a space through them for a road. There's 4, and I'll build the 5th one over here. Yeah, just there. So this probably isn't the idea of ideal placement. I just want to give you a rough kind of idea of the order you should build things in to help yourself out. So we also want to remove resources in pretty much this entire immediate area. Okay, so that'll set everyone to work. At the moment they've got 10 labourers, so I'll just increase that to have about 4 builders. And while the builders aren't building, they'll act as labourers anyway, so it's no big deal. But pretty soon the houses should all be built and all these little homeless people icons should disappear. Provided that we have 5 families. Sometimes if you're a little slow you can end up having 6 and you need to build a 6th house, which is a bit annoying. Okay, so there we go. Just hit pause again, which is hotkey to spacebar. Got low firewood, but that's just because it's raining and it's spring. It'll be fine. I also play on 10 times speed if you're wondering if it's going a little fast for you. For me, that's kind of just the way I play at and what I'm used to. So that's what you'll see in this tutorial. Now, we need to get 2 things sorted in order to survive winter, or just in general, and that is food and also whatchamacallit, firewood. So a good spot to start off our food, we want to have probably hunters and gatherers, and then later if I was closer to water I'd probably do a fisherman hut as well straight away, but we should be alright without it. What you want for gatherers as well as hunters is to have them a little away from the town in dense forest area. So I could put them down here, but you notice there's a lot of rocks this way, a few less up this way, and I scouted this out before I started recording just so I could decide round about where I wanted to put things. So I stick the gatherer there, grab the hunting cabin, and and we try to line them up. Hunting cabin is slightly larger, and we give them a shared pathway like that. So there we go, that should help us out. And then I'll click here, increase priority, and I'll tell them I want to focus on this area instead of collecting all the resources out here. So that just ensures that we're going to start on our food production as soon as possible. And hopefully no one freezes to death just because it's raining. It's warm enough, go shoot. It's 11 degrees, we've got clothes. There's also temperature and weather up the top here if you haven't seen that. And the seasons displayed in the top left corner. Just waiting on this. One thing I do like to do at the start of a map is as soon as it loads, just kind of have a look and see where you can put things. If you're got a bit of a scattered island type of thing where there's not a great deal of space before you have to go across water, you might consider restarting. And that's just mainly because it could be a little difficult for you to expand. Okay, so here we go. We've got Gatherer's Hut that's finished building now. It's got a question mark because there's no one assigned to it. So I'm going to stick 2 people in there. And it's saying it's got 2 of up to 4, so I can decrease that down to 2 if I want, but that's more managing it when you've got multiple Gatherer's Huts. And if I leave them to it now, they'll go ahead and start collecting food. Gatherers are good as one of the first food sources because they collect a variety of different items from the forest. So people love to have a variety of food. Not sure if you noticed that, but you're probably the same. And yeah, so Gatherers is very good to start off with, and they produce a lot of food as well, provided the forest is dense enough. Hunting cabin is the next bit, so that'll provide us with some meat from deer, as well as leather for creating clothes. So those 2 will get us started there. And then also what I want to do is put a dirt road through there, and then down like this, through here. And I'll line it up down the line of houses, as well as across here. Don't really need a path to that house just yet. What I probably should have done instead of putting that house there is put it over here and facing sideways towards the others, but it's no big deal. Like I said, this won't be the ideal town planning. But anyway, now that those are all built, we want to work on a woodcutter. So this will produce firewood, so nobody will freeze to death when it gets a little colder. Now, unfortunately, this won't be the best placement because of the mountains around here, but it's kind of what you have to deal with. So I'll stick it next to this house. So we go like that. And then the woodcutter, once we have built it and staff it with the person, we'll just turn logs into firewood, and that'll keep people warm throughout the colder weather. Might as well stick a road through here now. There we go. And these little notifications down the bottom tells us that the reserve of food is low at the moment. We're doing alright for our population and what we've got going on. I think what I might do is increase the gatherers and hunters by 1, and then we'll drop a woodcutter in here. So there we go, that is our immediate concerns done, and we should be sitting pretty comfortable through our first winter. And we're only in summer, so it gives us plenty of time to work up the firewood supplies. Next things we probably want to get ready is clearing away space for further development. So if you clear away all this, that should help. And I also want to put in a forester's lodge over this way. I wish people would stop chopping trees down over there. So the important thing about Gatherer's Hut and hunting cabin, like I said, is to have dense trees. And they need to be mature trees as well, not just saplings that you get from a forester's lodge. And that is because orchard, and that's because it's basically that's just how it works. So we stick a forester's lodge right in next to that, and then once that's built, I'll staff it with 1 person just to plant trees. And then when that's finished done planting, I'll remove that person out and we'll just have a nice dense forest over here, giving us the best possible food production out of our Gatherer's Hut. So as you can see, we get a fair bit anyway. Same with deer. Yeah, we've already got 400 meat from them, sitting at 630 surplus food. So we're doing alright. As for building more houses, I like to leave that until at least the second year, just to make sure everything's sitting pretty. We are starting to get a little low on tools though, so after this Forester's Lodge, it'll be time to build a blacksmith, and then shortly after that, probably a tailor. And blacksmiths, if you don't know, they provide tools. Starts off with iron tools, then once you start mining coal out, you can produce steel tools, which work a little bit better. And tailors are similar. Oh, need to add more stockpile land. Oh, not the best spot. Might stockpile out here. Yeah, tailors work similar to blacksmiths in that you start out just making clothes from leather, then you can switch to making clothes from wool when you have sheep, or you can combine the two to make even warmer clothes, and then that'll cut down your firewood usage and also increase the time that people are out and about, because when they get cold they run back to a house for warmth. And you can see here this guy is at his limit, so basically when he hits his limit of 200 firewood, we don't want to increase that in a moment because we'll just go through more logs, but when he hits his limit he'll just basically go and act as a labourer, so you don't have to worry about that. Same as the builders, if they're inactive they'll just work as labourers instead of standing around doing nothing. So just remove some more resources. The reason I'm doing this is to make room for farms, so I probably don't need quite as much area as what I'm clearing. In fact, it's still in early winter, so I'll wait. What I like to do going into the second year is to wait until winter and then put down a crop, crop of farmland, and get ready to start harvesting some goods. So with the farmland being this close to the marketplace and everything, it works okay at the start, since I'll have it around this area. But once we move on, I can probably remove that, put it somewhere else, a bit further away from all the population centre, and let me build more houses in here. Alternatively, you can build farmland and houses a bit further out and just hope that they don't hoard food. But it won't matter too much, so we're already seeing around 1,000. Food production is pretty easy once you got it right. I forgot we were still building out here. Okay, so what we want here is to set that up and tell them not to cut down trees. So I'll just set one guy in here and he'll slowly plant trees out, and as those trees grow up and become mature, our production on the gatherer's hut will increase, which is very handy. And then once the whole place is dense and I've removed all these rocks and everything, and it's all dense with trees, we can go ahead and just finding crop, there it is. Once it's all dense with trees, we can go ahead. Oh, bad spot. Try here. No, a little further over. Okay, that's better. Just going to the maximum side, there's not much point doing a crop any smaller. And they've got to remove some trees, so I'll set the priority on this. Probably left this a little too late because I've been yakking away. Set priority on that, remove all the trees. And done. Okay, so we'll start off with wheat, I think. Set in 3 people. Remove our builders just to make sure that we're okay there. And then they'll go ahead and run this for me. So the reason I've set 3 people there is just to ensure that we get some nice harvest. So I'll run through more on that next tutorial, but as for now, we've got through our first year. We're ready to sit on the second year production, so that's building things like blacksmith and tailor, like I mentioned, making sure that our forest is getting nice and big for the gatherer's hut, probably expanding out and building fish. That might be by the 3rd year, just because it's further away than normal. But yeah, as for now, that's a decent start. The town's ready to flourish, got a nice stockpile of food so we can start building some more houses. But yeah, that's pretty much it to get started. If you follow along this path, then you should be all set to keep going, and also build that market at some stage. Don't just leave it sitting like that. Probably by about the 3rd or 4th year. Anyway guys, that is it for now. So don't forget, leave any questions in the comments if you want me to do a tutorial on a certain subject. But yeah, that's it for now. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.